Alright guys, welcome back to another INFJ video. Today we're going to be talking about 3 traits or superpowers that really kind of just set apart an INFJ. So the first one is intuition. It's this analytical capability to see beyond the 5 senses. It provides psychological data, and using that data, it allows you to interact with that person or kind of judge a situation or an environment of people through a lens of that intuition, right? So how it works is you've got your 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, hearing, and sight, which you use to communicate with people. And then you have intuition, which is kind of a deeper means of getting that information. It's interesting because I think a lot of the times whenever we interact with someone, it's based on our perception of how we think that person perceives us. So it's a meta perception. It's our thoughts about that person's thoughts towards us. And so a lot of times you can kind of see intuition manifests itself whenever you decide to extend a certain aspect of your personality to kind of filter off those initial reactions with someone. So essentially what I mean by that is, let's say you run into someone and you're like going to the gas station and like somebody's like acting really sketchy in the parking lot, and they walk over to you, and then like all of a sudden you just get this like crazy hunch in your body. What happens in that situation is intuition works within like a split second, and then all of a sudden your guard is up, and so you extend kind of like a phantom of yourself to interact with that person. So it's not really the real you, it's a figment, it's a creation, kind of like an altered state of you, because your defenses are now up. So intuition also can work in ways where you're able to sense even subtle shifts in emotions in people, subtle shifts in tonality and body language, things of that nature that again give you that psychological information, in which you can use that to discern what a person is actually trying to communicate. That's a really strong thing, is intuition, guys. That the INFJ, that's like one of the main superpowers. The second thing with that analytical mind, kind of going off of that, is the capacity for abstract thought. So it's their creativity. It's those ideas that are coming to you in this non-linear fashion. So I know for me, whenever I have ideas, like it'll start with like one small concept. And when I entertain that, then that's like something from over here comes in and something from over here, and they all kind of build off of each other. The interesting thing about it is my memory sucks. It's like absolute trash. I literally have the worst memory out of anybody I know. But the good thing is I feel very creative, and when I give myself an outlet, like a platform to demonstrate these ideas or these concepts or just these like random things that I think about, I feel more myself. I feel like I'm in a more flow state. The third thing is empathy. And I'm not talking about like feeling sorry for someone. I'm talking about like feeling exactly what someone else is feeling in a situation. So let me give you an example. Recently, one of my friends I hadn't spoken to since high school, which was 10 years ago, reached out to me, and she was like asking these questions. She was like, "Hey, like, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, long time no talk. Like, how have you been? Blah blah blah." And I just started like pick up on like these like weird feelings that like, man, I get this feeling that like she's not in a good place, and she's asking me like how I'm doing, so maybe then I can like kind of like bear what she's about to say. And somewhere in the mix of our conversation, this is like all over text, like I just start feeling like such crazy, like deep compassion for her. And she was like struggling with a few things. We talked about it, but I just remember thinking, I was like, man, like I feel a lot of loyalty towards certain people, and when I allow myself to feel empathy for somebody that's less fortunate or just in a sad, sorrowful situation, I feel that burden that they're experiencing as if it were my own. The emotions, the loss, the frustrations, things like that. And it can be really hard, especially if you're exposed to that a lot. Like if you have friends that are, constant emotional wrecks, which I don't have, I'm very fortunate, but being around a lot of those energies that are just very distraught or in kind of dark places, it can be unhealthy, because you want to be there and you genuinely care, and you can't not care about someone, unless you door slam them, of course, which has happened. But anyways, for the most part, yeah, you can't turn empathy off. I was just thinking about like the brevity of life and how short we have it here. I was going through my feed, like the news, and I came across this article of this young guy who was like in his 20s, and he got in a car accident. He literally went like 70 miles an hour, hit the semi truck, blew up. It was so sad because he got in this car accident, and it trends on the internet for half a day, and then people carry on business as usual. But if you just pause and if you just really embrace kind of the shock of that moment, like what if that was you? What if that was somebody that you were really close to? Like, that's extremely catastrophic. And so it just made me think it's very good and healthy to reflect and introspect when there's loss in life, because it shows you that we're not invincible, that we're not here forever. When you have empathy and when you don't take life for granted, give that gift away, demonstrate and extend compassion. I think now more than ever we need people that don't have their hearts so hardened and so cold and numb. We need people that are able to come off of their pride and they're able to stoop down and demonstrate humility to the less fortunate. So anyways, empathy is the third thing, just a story I wanted to weave in there, I guess. So we've got intuition, and these analytical capabilities, abstract thought, creativity, and what was the third one? Oh yeah, empathy, of course. So yeah, guys, hope this helps. Until next time, peace.